So I think without any further delay, I think we can start the session. My name is Bhavna, and I'm the marketing manager at MB Software. And I have with me Mr. Neeraj Kumar Pandey, who is MWS program manager, and who will be your esteemed speaker of the day. Over to you, Neeraj, and I welcome you all to the webinar today. Thank you.
So thanks, Bhavna. I hope I am audible to everyone.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I might have to speak a little low because there is another session going right next to me. So I hope that is fine with everyone, right? Just let me know if the sound is enough so that you can, it hits your eardrum and you can listen to me properly. Yes.
Yes, Neeraj.
Perfect. Thanks. Thank you so much. So, firstly, good evening to all of you, and thank you so much. Appreciate everybody's time that they have taken out from their busy schedule and you know to attend this small workshop on do more with less. Okay. Now, what is this? Why is this? We'll discuss this in a couple of minutes. So, as you know, I'll introduce myself and my colleague who is in this call with me. So myself, Neeraj Kumar Pandey, I work with MB Software Private Limited as a MWS program manager. So I look after the trainings, adoptions, conducting webinars, new offerings that comes from Microsoft. Working on pitching the Office 365 solution from a productivity collaboration per se. If a customer wants to migrate, they want to know what all features, what all best features does O365 has. Again, from a mailing point of view, storage point of view, security point of view, I am the one who helps the customer to understand whether O365 will help them in better ways, not only in one way, but in many ways. Along with me, I have Tushar. So Tushar is with me, who will be showcasing us the demo on the security piece of Office 365. Like what all things do we have, starting from Zero Trust Foundation to uh, and simplified endpoint management. And the third piece we might discuss on this, that is productivity and collaboration. Now, why do we require this? First, now that was about myself and my colleague Tushar, who will be showcasing a demo in a while. Now, why do we require this workshop? Basically, is to know that why such buzz or such word or phrase has been coming up lately too much from Microsoft as well as from customer or partners like us. So we all know that the current economic conditions are very not correct or not going in everybody's way. It is actually impacting organizations across the globe. People are getting laid off. It doesn't matter if you are the star performer of the company. It doesn't matter whether you have been with the company for the past 20-25 years. So in times like these, companies, organizations has to take some tough decisions. They have to they have to look after every investment that they do in people and technology, and it must be a strategic one as well. You cannot just simply take any decision randomly depending upon some information. So we have to take some strategic decision, and to so that we achieve our business goals. um, Now, to help navigate or to help overcome this business uncertainty or economic uncertainty, Microsoft has initiated this program, which is called as Do More with Less. That brings all the capabilities together into one integrated experience that makes hybrid work easier and smarter for all the employees. It doesn't matter from it is for partner as well as for customers as well as for Microsoft itself. Okay. Now with Microsoft 365, we can help our customers, we can help our partners, we can help our companies, customers, and so on to do more with less by enabling them to consolidate and eliminate the operating costs, optimize business performances, and build a foundation for a zero trust security strategy. What does this zero trust security refers to basically? Let me show you a slide first of all so that you'll understand what is this zero trust security is. A zero trust foundation is basically it comprises of three things. One is securing and managing all the identities within the organization. It could be your employees, your people within the organization, people from your people who would be working as a as a guest who will be again trying to access your resources. We have to defend against threat on multi platforms, on all the platforms that everybody is using, and we have to protect sensitive information across data, different data workloads which is available in Microsoft 365. Apart from that, we also have to make sure that all the endpoints are managed in a simple manner, and we should, or an IT person needs to have a complete bird eye view what all devices are there, who is actually managing accessing the resources. So we have all these solutions which we have mentioned in slide. From a you can access all these things from a single portal. You do not have to remember multiple IDs or multiple passwords. I can simply go to a portal that is admin.microsoft.com, and then from there i can I can easily take up. Okay. Now, what are we going to do is instead of me, I can understand that it's a post lunch session. So instead of making you feel sleepy and drowsy, what I'm going to do is I'll hand it over to Tushar so that we can directly help us to navigate or work on the demo. Okay. So Tushar, over to you. I will be here. If you have any questions, I request everyone to please ask questions if you have any, so that we can make this more interactive, and so that if you have any queries, it might be new for us, so we can explore those things accordingly. Okay, so Tushar, over to you.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Neeraj. Yeah. I have shared my screen. I hope it is visible to all. So the screen that I have shared is the Azure AD console. Okay. Okay, to start with, as we are, we just saw about the zero trust approach, which is more stressed about to protect an organization security. So coming to its implementation part of the zero trust framework, we have few configurations that need to be done in order to implement it. So the screen that I had shared is the Azure AD console, which is the Microsoft's identity and access management solution, where all the entities that are present in your organization, whether it is users, groups, devices, applications, everything will be seen over here. So to start with the very first feature with respect to the security point, the first thing that we need to protect in any organization is the identity part, that is the user's account, since it is the most vulnerable entity that would get easily compromised and later on which can be used to gain access to other systems in the organization. So in order to have a very first level of protection, we can implement conditional access policy, which is a feature of Azure AD. So what this does is it is the actual implementation of one of the principles of zero trust framework, which is the verify explicitly. So each of the sign-in that happens on your application, which is integrated with Azure AD, will be verified by conditional access policies against the rules that have been configured. So conditional access policies are rules that you define in order to allow or block access to a particular application. So as we know, currently we are in a Office 365 setup where everything is on cloud. There is no on-premise servers, unlike earlier we had Exchange servers, nothing that, like that sort of. So in order to implement a security to it, since it is on cloud, it can be accessed on any platform, any device, any network. We have a conditional access in feature in place, which will evaluate each sign in so that user's account would not get compromised from unauthorized access. So how this works is, so as I said, by default, Office 365 applications like Outlook, Teams, OneDrive are accessible over the internet without any restrictions. So, in order to prevent that and filter out and selectively allow access to O365 under certain platform or under certain network only, we have to configure these policies. So how this works is you have to specify a user account and application. This means that whenever this user will try to access the specified application, conditions that we have configured will get evaluated. So if I have, as just for this example, I have configured location based policy. So what this does is, if I try to sign in using this account on Office 365, and if it is a location, if that IP is not coming from a trusted IP, it is not a trusted location, then my sign in will be blocked. So here I am specifying a user and an application. So whenever this user will sign into that application, the location of the user will get evaluated. If it is coming under the trusted location, then only the access will be given. Otherwise, the access will be blocked to the cloud application. So here I have whitelisted my home IP address so that only from that IP I will be able to access O365, and otherwise I will be blocked. Okay, so this is the ID that I had just specified in the policy. So if you see, since I have whitelisted my IP, I am able to access Office 365. That is the Outlook app. But now suppose if I switch to my VM, which is hosted somewhere else outside India, and if I try to sign in using the same ID to O365, so I am getting this message, you cannot access this right now because the criteria to access the resource has not been met. So if you see, since I had kept a policy to filter out, untrusted IPs, or access to O365 is only given based on the network that has been whitelisted. So this can be further expanded to, in a corporate organization, you can configure similar policies so that access to O365 can only be given when you are in the office network. Once you leave the premises, access to O365 will be blocked. So how does this help is, so suppose if a user's account has gotten compromised due to credential theft by phishing or any kind of attack, and an attacker gets the user ID and password. So in that case, users, even if the attacker has that password and ID and password, it won't be of much use unless the he's in the particular corporate network, because outside the network the access is blocked, so there is no use of that particular credentials for him. I hope this use case that I showed was pretty much understood, so that you can further look after it and try to implement it. So the next use case with respect to conditional access that I would show is the, okay, so again similar use case wherein instead of giving access based on the network parameter, since most of the organizations are in a hybrid setup and network is not something that everyone might use, so we can configure access to O365 based on conditions like domain join systems. So suppose if the user is accessing from a domain join systems, then only the access to Office 365 will be given, and otherwise it will be blocked. So here I have specified a user and an application, Office 365. Then I have selected the platform Windows. Then under condition, this time I am not blocking it. I have allowed it, but allow is only based on a particular criteria, that is hybrid Azure AD join. This is similar to a domain join concept. so that only domain join system will be able to access my O365 or any Azure AD integrated cloud application. If the user is using a personal laptop or work group system, the access will be blocked and the error message that I showed earlier, the same message will be given to the end user. Any queries on this? Any use case that you would like to check if it is available? If not, then we can go ahead with the next part. So, okay. So as I mentioned, Azure AD is mostly concerned about the identity part of the end user. So the next thing that we need to protect is the password. So once we, so the next thing that we have to check for is the, as an implement is the password protection feature of Azure AD. So what this does is, if any user tries to change their password and tries to set it something simple that is most commonly used, then in that case Azure AD will not allow it to set, that allow not allowed to set that as their password. So how this works is, at the backend there is a repository maintained by Microsoft, continuously updated by Microsoft, by addition of new passwords. So if the password that you are trying to set is present in that repository, then in that case the user won't be allowed to set that as a password. Along with that, if you have any custom keywords that are specific to your organization or department, in that case you can add keywords over here. So whichever keywords that you specify over here won't be allowed by the end user to set that as a password. So this will prevent the end user from brute force attack, since those are also most of the common attacks wherein user try to enter multiple password and try to check if it is getting accepted. So in that case, password protection feature is there to prevent such kind of attacks. Any queries on this? Okay. If not, you can like interrupt whenever if you have any query. I will try to answer it. Yeah. So the next thing I would cover is the, so once you go to Azure AD of like implement the Azure AD security policies, parallelly there is a report that gets generated based on sign-ins that are happening in the environment. So suppose users are users would be having a regular pattern of signing in from a particular location or from a particular country based on their location. So in that case, Azure AD has a risk detections report wherein it will creates a user profile for each user wherein all the previously known sign-ins are evaluated, and based on that, if a new sign-in comes in from a different network or different country which has not been used earlier, then in that case it will come up over here and try to show you that that account might be compromised. So it will assign a risk level based on the severity, whether it might be low, medium, or high risk based on the type of detection. So here in this case, if you see, the user has tried to sign in from a new country. So this was because is usually signing in from a particular country, but all of a sudden the country has been changed. This might be due to some attacker trying to gain access, or it also might be due to a genuine sign-in attempt. But this will just give you detect you and show you as a report so that you can try to approach the user and implement the required security action, so that it doesn't get compromised. So it has different parameters to judge a sign-in, whether it is compromised or not, whether it is an impossible travel, leaked credential, atypical travel. Okay, or any suspicious browser is used by the end user, like something like Tor browser is used by the end user. In that case, also the sign in will be coming up over here in this report, so that you can get alerted about the user. So another thing, not a security thing, but it's more like a end user feature wherein user will be allowed to reset their password or unlock their account. So once you move to Azure AD, self-service password reset is a feature provided for users' convenience. So without the help of IT team, user can reset their password or unlock their account on their own. So usually what happens is if any such scenario happens wherein user has forgotten their password or their account is getting locked, then they have to reach out to IT team, and then there is a gap of time due to which the productivity of the user can be impacted. So to prevent that, we have a portal wherein sorry, user has to just enter his email address and verify the ownership of the account. So this portal can be accessed on any internet connected device. Password reset.microsoftonline.com. The user has to enter the email address. Once the email address is verified, it has the you have to prove ownership of that account so that it is confirmed that you are actually owning that account. So this can be done via entering an OTP that you receive on your mobile. If the OTP is correct, then you will be allowed to reset that password. And then this password will again be right back to your on-premise Active Directory. So this password that you set over here will be evaluated against the password protection policy that I just showed you. If the password is simple, then it won't be allowed to set. So if, as you see, I had tried to set a simple password, but it didn't allow me because it was easily guessable and it was present in the Microsoft's repository, due to which the password was not allowed to set. So this is something a feature that is more convenient for the end user to do their any kind of user account related activity like password reset or account unlock on their own. With just there is just a prerequisite that they have to register that mobile number or configure authenticator app so that the ownership of the account is verified. Any queries till now from the identity and okay, thank like further, the next once we are done with the identity part as in securing it, the next thing that we need to protect is the users endpoints that they are using to access O365. So I will just connect the session from mobile.
While Tushar is connecting, I request each one of you that I have populated a feedback form on the chat box. So we would really appreciate if we can get a feedback from your side. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I have shared my screen from my mobile. So usually end users will be accessing the company's data, that is O365 apps on their mobile for accessing emails, Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint. But since we are in a phase wherein we cannot directly block access to O365 based on the network or any such parameter, since it is convenient for the end user to quickly respond to any of the email, attend meetings without hampering the productivity. So we will be providing access to O365 on mobile, but in a secure way, so that the organization's data is not getting leaked, and the user access is also, users productivity is also not hampered. So if you see, I just opened Outlook application and I'm asked to enter a PIN. That is because on the portal, endpoint portal, I have configured a policy which will, set or ask user to set a PIN whenever he is trying to access Outlook Teams or any of the Microsoft application. So in this way, we are protecting the corporate applications by an application PIN. So this doesn't depend on the device level pin. So even if the device doesn't have a fingerprint or a fingerprint or any other security unlock mechanism, but still we have an application level pin, so that even if the device gets accessed by any unauthorized user, the application and eventually the corporate data would remain protected. So once enter the pin, I am able to access the Outlook application. So this was the access level protection that we had, so that the application doesn't get compromised by unauthorized access. So after that, the next level of protection that we have is the data protection feature. So if I try to copy any content from my Outlook or Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint apps and paste it in some third-party apps, this can be any third-party app, non-Microsoft app like WhatsApp, any third-party browsers. So if you see, I got a message saying organization data cannot be copy pasted. This was again because of the policy that we have configured, which will prevent data relocation, of any data that is coming from corporate managed app like Outlook and Teams. Similarly, if you have any attachment on Outlook or if there is any file on Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint, if you try to download it or save it on your device, it will give you a message saying the file cannot be saved to device. So you will be just allowed to view it within that app itself, but there will be no option to save it. Along with that, if you try to share it to some other app, that won't be also possible. Same goes for iOS as well. Currently the demo is I have shown it for Android, but the same applies for iOS as well. So you cannot share any attachment, copy any data from Outlook and relocate it. Along with that, there is one more thing, that is screenshot that is would get blocked. So within Outlook app, suppose if you Outlook or any app like Teams, OneDrive, if you try to take a screenshot, it won't be blocked. Along with that, if you share your screen and open Outlook application, the screen will be completely blank. The whoever is seeing the screen, there won't be any Outlook related data visible. That is because of the screen capture feature that we would be blocking. But for the demo, I have kept it allowed. Otherwise, I won't be show you the security feature like copy paste. But otherwise, if that feature was enabled, screen sharing will be disabled. Along with that, screenshot will also be blocked. So if you see now, I am able to take screenshot, but otherwise there would be an error message stating the screenshot screen capture has been blocked. So that there won't be any data relocation using screenshot as well. So we are trying to protect all the possible scenarios of data relocation along with the access level protection policy, which will be asking user to set a pin at a application level. So this the same setting that I have like same data relocation capabilities I showed will be applied to Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive app as well, just like I showed it for team Outlook app. So if I try to copy any content from Teams, download anything from it, the same restriction can be applied. Also, one thing to note over here is that these I have configured the most restrictive setting, but depending on the organization need, you can selectively allow or disallow certain feature. Like if you want screenshot should be enabled, you can keep it. If you want copy paste should work, then that can also be allowed depending on the organization needs. You can create different policies for different users as well based on the level of the user, like seniority level. Any queries over here?
Yeah, Raj here from this side.
Yeah,
Okay, so the same facilities in controls are available in the Outlook. I mean, whatever you know described here in the mobile.
yeah,
So data or specific data which we can person
y-
individually we can control them.
yeah. You can create multiple policies for different set of user.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
what
so
about Outlook? Yeah.
yeah, that's why I'm asking. In the Outlook also sending mails within the organization we can know individuals wise we can control that. No, that facility is there.
Could you just explain the scenario? Like, is it with respect to sending emails?
Yeah, sending emails to outside from the Outlook,
Okay, you want to restrict it to internal users only, is it?
internal and external both. Basically to protect data. See, like in your mobile you are sharing, no? There is we can
Tushar,
set
Yeah.
up the policies.
I feel DLP. I guess he's referring Mr.
Raj.
So
Raj is
you,
referring to DLP. I guess MIP will be ideal over here. MIP and DLP policies. So if you
Hmm.
can throw some light on MIP and this thing, that might help him.
yeah. So suppose if user is trying to forward the email to his Gmail account or something like that.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So that is something that is coming under the O365, exchange rules, I would say. I can show you a demo on that as well.
Hmm.
Okay. I will stop sharing the screen from my mobile and reshare it from the desktop.
Okay.
So this thing, I am sharing, like this is something that is, I'm showing it for Outlook web, but the same will be applied for sending emails through desktop app or the mobile app as well.
Okay.
So if this
Hmm.
user is trying to, this is an O365 account and the user is trying to send to a Gmail account. So if the user tries to send it, there should be an error message that is received. Yeah. If you see the message did not it didn't send because of rules that I have configured. If
Okay.
you see, yeah, there was a, so this is the end kind of a NDR report wherein it says that don't send, this is a custom message that I have said, like don't send emails to external domain. So if it is any email ID apart from the organization's internal users, the there will be an NDR report mail saying that external email should not be sent. Like you should not forward it to external domain. So this can be a Gmail domain as well or any other domain apart from your organization's own custom domain.
Excellent.
So you
Got
can
it.
yeah. So you can configure it to block for a certain particular domain, or you can straight away define a rule stating it to block completely to external domains. So either of them can be done.
Okay.
So all these things that I showed you, the email part or the mobile part, this everything has to be collectively, applied to implement or to further strengthen the security. Okay.
Noted.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So okay, moving ahead with the next part. So we just saw how we protected the mobile part. So the next thing that we would be focusing is on the again the endpoints. So similar to Azure AD console, there is a Microsoft's endpoint manager console, like Microsoft Intune Admin Center. So this console is focused only on the endpoints part. So the end users will be using their corporate laptops, desktop, which are domain joined. So in that case, the endpoints need to be managed by Microsoft Intune in order to have a control on it. So once you onboard these systems to Intune, you will be having a visibility of it over here. So all those Windows system, that there is a procedure to onboard devices to Intune. Once that is done, the devices would be start coming up over here. So for every device, there will be a record created and a dedicated console page similar to this will be shown, wherein you will be getting the basic details like serial number, hardware details, who is owning it, when was the system last connected to internet, or any other hardware details, or something like even applications that are present on the device. So you will be having a visibility of the device over here. Along with that, controls like deleting, restarting the device, collecting logs, factory resetting it. These are some of the controls that are also available that you can take remotely over the internet. So all this console, this solution is a completely cloud based. There is no hardware required as in to use it. It's just a browser based solution completely over the cloud. So wherein you can manage most commonly used platforms like Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS. These platforms can be managed. So once the system are onboarded, as I said, you will be having a control on it. So you can get the details specific to the device with respect to hardware, software, which all applications that you have pushed on the device that also can be seen. So yeah, I will come to the application part later. So, yeah, along with that, local admin password can also be seen over here. So each system will be having a local administrator password. So using Intune, you can have a control on it so that each system has a different local admin password, which is being managed through a centralized portal so that any such attack will be prevented which is trying to compromise the local admin account. So if you see, I can directly go to this device and browse the local administrator password and use it on the device. So the account, this is something that is the built-in account. Local admin account password will be managed by the Intune password policy. So, like once the device is onboarded, the next thing that you can do with it is the application deployment. So, if you have any requirement from the end user asking for an application, you can upload the setup of the file over Intune and then assign it to that particular user group, and then the application will be deployed to the end user over the internet. So there is no dependency on the end user to come to the office network and then get it installed. This will be done over the internet. So I have configured Chrome application wherein I have just uploaded the setup file on Intune. Once that is done, I have to configure the assignment part wherein I will be specifying whether it has to be deployed to all user, all device, or a particular group of user or device. Along with that, you can also manage the updates on Windows system so that the systems are getting the latest patch as Microsoft releases every month. You just have to configure a policy over here and assign it to users. So this is just a basic policy that I have configured, which will be specifying how the update should happen, whether it should happen at a particular time of the day or whether it should happen at a maintenance time, when should be the restart happening. All these settings can be configured over here. Then the update will be happening over the internet on a timely manner. Any queries till now? So this is the endpoint management solution. So this will be covering all the management aspects of a endpoint, starting from application deployment to configuring any of the settings specific to a device, like USB block or any of the settings like AV configuration, BitLocker configuration. All these settings will be can be configured over here. Any queries? Okay. Fine. So after application deployment or OS updation, as I said, the next part that comes up is the configuration of settings on the endpoints. So you just have to go to configuration profile, then select the platform and templates. So Intune is capable enough to set the most of the group policies that you would be using in your environment can be configured using Intune. Most of them are available over here for most applications. So you just have to select the respective settings and enable or disable it as per the need, and then just target it to a particular group or user, all users. So once this is done, the end user will be getting this policy over the internet on their Intune managed device. So as I said, any if you have something like device restriction policy wherein it controls some of the features on the endpoints, that can also be set over here. So the most commonly is used is something like Bluetooth block or USB connectivity should be blocked. So these thing can be configured over here. Removable storage block, USB connection block. So this thing will be blocked on the end user system. So again, this policy, whichever policy that you create on Azure AD or Intune, this can be created for different users. We can create different policy. It is not like only one policy can be created. Based on you can try to create multiple policies depending on the type of user, and all these policies work over the internet without dependency of the corporate network. Along with that, if you have once you have onboarded the system to Intune, there is a analytics tool that is provided by Microsoft. So what this would do is all the systems that are onboarded to this solution, it will gather all the telemetry that is getting generated on the device, and based on that, it will give a score to particular aspect of the device. So something like how much time a system takes to sign in or to reach to the desktop screen. Based on that, it will give a score or a time duration to so that you can identify a system is slow due to which reason, whether it is because of the group policy or if it is with respect to the booting time that is taking you know a toll on the device. So this thing will be helping you to identify the correct device model that you can provide end user to the end user. So so each device that is onboarded, a score will be given for the startup performance or booting time, so that you can get an idea of which systems are performing better than others. And also there is a restart count that is being tracked by the solution, so that it can help you to identify the most frequently restarted system, so that if there is any error due to which it is getting restarted, it will help you to identify that. So this is a bifurcation of the restart event. So if it was because of an update, if it was just a normal restart, if it was due to some error, then it will provide you a report of it, so that you can take the required action on it. If there is any startup process that is causing hamper to the responsiveness of quick responsiveness of the system, it will be coming up over here, so that you can identify which application is take consuming much of the RAM of the device. Then the next thing that this analytics report provides you is the Windows 11 upgradation status. So currently Windows 11 is being made available for all, and it has a hardware prerequisite. So since if you have your systems mostly on Windows 10, and if you want to check if they can be onboarded to Windows 11, then this is a report that will help you to identify which systems can be onboarded to Windows 11 and which cannot. So if it cannot be onboarded, then it will also provide you a reason if it is based on the TPM, or if there is not enough CPU core or RAM. This will give a report like this. So there are four devices over here. So each device, it will give remarks saying it is capable. If it is not capable, then what is the reason? Here in my case, it is the TPM that is not available on the system, due to which it cannot be onboarded to Windows 11. So these are just the readily available reports that you need not configure anything, just onboard it to the Intune platform, and this will provide you some insights on it. Any queries till now? Any challenge that you face in your current setup that you would like to check if it can be fixed by Azure AD Intune or any other product collectively? Anything from the device management end? Okay. Okay, so one last thing that we would like to cover is the EDR part. So we, as we saw that first we protected the identity, next we moved on to protect the device with respect to the device management capabilities. Along with that, we also need a solution which will protect the device from malwares or any kind of attacks, something like ransomware. So for that, Microsoft has a EDR solution which will help you with it. So once the system is onboarded to the EDR, each device will be again having a similar console, wherein it will give you the exposure score, risk level, and the security recommendation that is there. If there is any vulnerability for that particular device, it will provide you an insight on it without any configuration. All these things are automatically configured once the system are onboarded to the solution. So one difference between the traditional antivirus that we have, something like Windows antivirus or any other product available in the market, is that those work on the signature base. So each malware that is being discovered by architects, they make a note of it and try to register it in a particular database, and then based on that all the known malwares are being detected by the regular antivirus that we have. But something like EDR will further extend the protection and prevent something like not everything works on a signature based thing. There could be a file which is not a malware, but it is trying to do something suspicious, like it is trying to scan in your environment, try to it is trying to go through all the accounts that are present in the system, or trying to visit all the processes that are getting executed on the system. So this is not a malware thing, but it is something suspicious. So this won't be blocked by the antivirus, but EDR will be there here to help you and generate an alert for it. So if something like that happens, it will be generating an alert and helping you with the protection prevention part of it. So whenever something suspicious or something unknown is detected, which is not been something like a 0-day attack, which is not known to any antivirus solution. So in that case, EDR solution will be there to help you on that. So each time a alert is generated, an incident will be created. Based on that, you will be having a visibility of it over here in a graphical form. So if a malware is suppose detected on a system and it is further connected to or trying to spread to other system and infecting it, then this will be added to a new node over here. Additional nodes will be created over here so that you can have a look of it all in a consolidated manner. So if multiple systems are getting affected due to the same malware, additional nodes will be added in this diagram. Along with that, a scanning will be done on the system so that all the processes, files, registry settings will be checked if they are being impacted for it. And if something like that is found, it will be evaluated as in remediated to protect the system. So if you see, there was a malware that has been detected on this system. It was just an zip file, but along with that, there is at the backend, it is trying to connect to some URLs to get some data, or to do any kind of suspicious activity. But that was also prevented. So it is not just that exe file is, if it doesn't contain malware, it is not harmful. There can be something like it was trying to connect some malicious URL, which might not get detected by your antivirus. So there is a verdict of it over here showing as suspicious. So it was not a malware, but it was something suspicious because it was trying to connect some unknown URLs or malicious URLs. So based on that, it detected it and prevented it. So for every attack, you will be getting a similar console over here, which will tell you the attack story, which all systems are affected, if there is any all the impact that it has done to the system. Like if there is along with it, as I said, files are getting impacted. If it is trying to connect to URL, everything will be, you will be getting a report of it over here. So the, unlike the traditional AV, which just compares the exe file to something that it has in a database, EDR is much more, it is beyond that. And as I said, it will give you a security recommendation, wherein if there is any security policy that is not implemented on the device, like UEFI mode, secure boot is not enabled, BitLocker is not configured on the device. So these are some basic security recommendation that it will tell you to implement so that the endpoint is further protected. Along with that, if there is any vulnerability detected on the device, any CVE raised is not fixed by the by the endpoint, then it will show up in this report. So these are the CVEs that are not yet closed by the endpoint, and you need to update the system so that this CVE can be closed. So for each devices, you will be getting a similar console and a similar report. If there is any KB missing, then it will be coming up over here. So May 23 security update is not yet deployed on the system. So that's why it is showing up over here under missing KBs. Parallelly, a telemetry or an event is also captured over here so that all the timeline of the events can be, seen over here on this per device can be seen. So if a system has a lot of, open vulnerabilities, the exposure level will be something like medium or high. Once you try fixing those CVEs, the exposure level which will eventually get reduced. Any queries you have from EDR end? So this is not an endpoint management capability. This is more like a protect you from zero-day attacks or malwares. This is something which is more focused on it.
Does it have MDR?
Does it have
MDR?
Defender for identity?
No, MDR.
Could you just tell the full one?
Like
Like it's
EDR,
yeah,
is endpoint detection and protection. We have
yeah.
that management of that.
Management as in what?
Management of that. Heard of this? No, is another extension of this EDR.
Extension of EDR. Could you just tell the full form of MDR? Anish, if you got the query, could you help us?
Hello.
Yes.
See, in this kind of
Uh,
yeah,
it's like manage, detect, and response, where it consists of EDR, threat intelligence, security, orchestration, and all those stuff.
yeah,
I guess that
Okay.
is already available in endpoint, Defender for endpoint. If you can let them,
Yeah.
explain them the threat intelligence piece, then how the EDR, the portal looks like, where I can see all those stuff, as well as
See,
the security orchestration, automation, and response, which is again termed as a SOAR. Okay.
yeah. So each device, wait, let me pick up an example. Yeah. See, as I said, this is not an antivirus, this is an EDR. So whenever a alert is generated, like suppose if a malware is detected, so an alert will be raised based on, so as soon as an alert is raised, investigation is raised. So investigation is something similar to scanning of, and that we have something like in antivirus, we have a scanning thing, right? So similar to that, there is an investigation in EDR which will scan the endpoints again using some high level machine learning algorithms which are available to detect all the suspicious activity or any kind of file that has been generated by the malware. All such things will be generated, during the investigation process. So yeah, so this is a investigation graph. So as soon as alert is raised, it will scan each and everything on the endpoint, like all the files processes, service, drivers. It will be scanning it for any malware or any kind of impact that the malware has made on the registry, and try to roll it back and give you an evidence of it. So these files have been prevented. Along with that, all the processes that have been scanned, it will be going through a investigation process. So will log on exe. If you see, there is a verdict over here which is says no threats found. So all the files, services, processes, drivers will be scanned. Along with that, there will be a additional tabs over here. So suppose if the endpoint is further trying to connect to the user's mailbox and trying to forward email, then there is a mailbox tab as well. So all these tools all work together. So if there is any additional entity added while the incident is getting generated, it will be coming up over here. So if you see, there are four tabs over here. As soon as a malware is detected on a device, it comes up on this device. If it is further, it is traversing to the user's mailbox, like that. It is trying to create an email and trying to send some email. It will be coming up over here. All the infected mailbox will be coming up over here. If it is trying to touch any application that is present on the laptop, then it will be coming up over the application tab, so that the complete tracing of the malware is being captured using this EDR solution. So all the entities that are getting impacted, whether it is the user or device, mailbox, app, all will be coming under a single incident. So it is not always like a malware is coming up on a device and it is hampering the device itself. It's not like that in every case. The malware that is detected, it will be trying to further replicate it to other system, other mailbox, or it will try to apply itself to other application. So all the entities that it tries to affect will be coming up under a single console, and so that you can trace it which all applications got affected because of it. So this is not just detecting malware on the device, but it will check for the protect the user account as well. So if the user account got compromised during the malware process, it will be showing up over here. Like if the credentials got stolen by the malware, then it will be coming up over here in the alert or in the attack story that the user's credentials got leaked by this application. So we are not protecting just the endpoint. We are extending the EDR capability to the user account as well, to the application as well. And coming to the SOAR part, like automated investigation is similar to that. So you don't have to do anything, everything. This remediation part is something that is done automatically. You need not do any kind of action from your end to remove the file or to quarantine the file. This is an automated investigation and response mechanism. The feature is called as AIR capability, automated investigation and response. So as soon as malware is detected, alert is generated, investigation is raised, so that all the entities will be scanned and remediated. Similar to this, like a verdict will be given, malicious or suspicious, and then required actions like prevented, detected, everything will be mentioned over here. And if you can want to do some deep analysis, you can click on it on any file, and it will show you how many users have visited this device, or if this URL has been detected in the past. All these details will be seen over here. So if you see, the threat intelligence verdict is there. So so these are something that are running behind the EDR mechanism. It is not that we as a admin detect work directly, but it is a technology that is being used that is running behind the automated investigation capability. So there are multiple algorithms that are running along with Microsoft's threat intelligence capability. So every URL or file that you see during any kind of attack, a dedicated console similar to this will be seen so that you can have a look on it, like how many devices it was seen, or how many user clicked the URL, or if it was seen on any email. That whole analysis of the URL will be provided to get an insight. So if it was found in any email, then that email will also be captured and it will show you insight on it. So you need not search for anything on your own. If any suspicious URL is detected, it will generate a alert and it will give you a complete report, like where it was seen in past 30 days, whether it was seen on just device or any email, or if any user has clicked the URL, everything will be captured over here. So that's why it's a EDR thing and not just a regular antivirus.
Really, thanks for that, Tushar. In fact, as Mr. Neeraj Kumar pointed out, I was referring to this managed detection and then response. So I think this portion also, EDR also, you have well explained this. Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Neeraj, any idea about this MDR? It is also the same thing, no? It does it. What is
No,
your
no,
thoughts?
actually, MDR is a little bit different concept as compared to EDR.
Hmm.
Okay, but it's like MDR is directly not provided by Microsoft, but there are vendors who have been tied up with Microsoft, like Red Canary is there,
Hmm.
E-Satire. I guess there is a company called as E-Satire or something,
Hmm.
which is which has tied up with Microsoft to provide 24 by 7 managed detection, investigation,
Hmm.
and response, to threats across the Microsoft environment. So somewhere I believe, everything is incorporated within it. So,
Hmm.
somewhere, we need to take some insights from Microsoft as for this query that has come up in this particular session. Okay.
Yeah, see, yeah, I understand this and appreciate this, EDR portion is very well captured.
Mm-hmm.
So if MDR also, if MS can give that, share it, and that will be of
I
great.
think it is, Neeraj, I think it is coming under the Azure Sentinel part.
Somewhere even I had that
Yeah,
suspicion, but
see,
I was not sure about it.
Yeah, he's right. Sentinel one is another one more, no.
yeah,
Uh,
it will work across different products. So suppose if you have multiple products coming from different vendors, then Sentinel will, come as
Logs.
a bridge between them, and you can see consolidated alerts in a single place, along with automated response as well. So EDR is something that works in a Microsoft ecosystem itself. Azure Sentinel is more a broader concept over here, which is similar to the MDR part.
mm,
We will look into this, Mr. Raj, and we'll
Yeah,
let you know
yeah,
that whatever the concept is, however the concept is, we'll let you know about it.
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
fine.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're welcome. Yes. Any more questions, or Tushar? Is
Mm.
there anything pending from your end?
No, there's
Okay.
nothing pending, but if they have any point or use case that they wish to cover, we can try to take that up if
Okay.
possible.
Okay. Does anybody has any question? Feel free to ask, or else if there is no more questions, we can wind it up. I hope the session was fruitful for everybody, and thank you so much, Tushar, for that wonderful demo and explanation. Okay. If there is no more questions, we can wind up. So thank you so much for to all of you. I appreciate everybody's time and to those people who have left out early due to some other commitments. But yes, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we will wait your call or mail if you have any queries or if you wanted to connect with us offline. Okay. So thanks once again, and have a great day and have a great weekend ahead. Bye.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, everyone, for
Yeah.
joining once again. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks all. Yeah. Thank you.